Have you ever wondered how cowboys decide what electric fence to use or when and why? I'm going to talk about electric fence a little bit today, why we use it, where we use it, and if my phone can keep up with me, I will show you some of it. Here we go. So back here, I've got electric fence wire, just one strand of twine, rebar post, and an insulator. And this is kind of the bare bones fence. You can get a lot more elaborate with them and they can work a lot better, but this is kind of the bare minimum you need. One reason I like the rebar posts, you can use any hammer on them, pound them in, doesn't hurt the post a bit. And they're fairly cheap, fairly easy to get. My local steel supply place sells them in 4-foot lengths, and I don't know, they're like $1 or $2 a piece. Most any other post you buy is going to probably be like $3-4 a piece. And so if you're going to be moving your stuff a lot, they make plastic posts with a step on them. Those work really well. I've used those quite a bit in the past. They do cost quite a bit more than these. They are a lot more fragile. They break. But this is kind of bare bones setup. The twine works really good if you get twine from a quality place, like name brand, like Gallagher or Premier One are some of the ones that are really good. Farm store twine, some of it's okay, some of it's not. The problem is you can't tell a difference until you've used it for a while. This stuff I bought on clearance from a electric fence supply place. I won't say their name, but they had it on clearance, no return. I was dumb enough to buy it. There was a reason they had it on clearance. Stuff's absolute junk. It has no UV stabilization in it. You leave it out in the sun for about 2 months and it is totally rotten. The other problem with this stuff is the wires just, it hasn't happened on this exact wire yet, but some of the other wire of this same brand just turned into a porcupine, which kept it from carrying charge very well. That's the other big difference between your good name brand twine and your cheap junk, is how much juice it carries to the end of your line, which becomes fairly important fairly quickly. Then if you look over here, you can see where my solar charger is, sort of. The reason it's back here, if you turn around this way, I don't know if my camera will follow me. We'll see if it can handle this or not. No, can't quite handle it. Down this way behind me, there's a county road, and these fencers are not cheap. If it's in plain sight within a few feet of the county road, it's a lot more likely that it's gonna grow legs and walk away on me. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on over here. I'll see if my phone can keep up with me or not. Talk about the fence charger here. Okay. So down here's my fence charger. My dad bought this probably 20 years ago. These Parmac have been pretty good. They're not the best ones out there, but for the money, they are pretty solid. At least the old ones were. I had to replace this actual fence charger unit inside of the solar this year after 20 years. Big deal. I mean, you get 20 years out of something, it was pretty good. They did sell me the part for that fairly reasonably. Solar panel is still good. I don't know how many batteries I've been through. I'm using just a little lawnmower battery right now. But oh, I was talking about the fence being junk. See if we can move this a little closer here. Maybe you can see it right here behind me. And my phone lost me. But anyway, I don't know if you can see it or not. Phone's got a mind of its own when it's on a gimbal. Right there, there we go. You can see how that's just fallen apart. But anyway, get the tripod set back up here. And the gimbal's lost its marbles. Okay, well, anyway. We'll go back to using our brain instead of the gimbal. Technology is great when it works. But anyway, I hope that helps you a little bit about the quality of products for electric fence. The way I have this set up is very, very basic, very cheap, and very temporary. If I was going to set up something long-term here, which if I got like a 5-year lease on this place, I definitely would consider doing that. But for now, I don't know how long I have this lease, so I use very temporary stuff. Very cheap, quick to set up. If I were to do this long term, I would probably take a fence from the tall tree right there. There's a fence right in the corner there. I would probably bring it on around that fence line behind the willows here, between the willows and that big tree. Take it across right down there, across the creek over here, tied into that fence over there. Now, if I were to do that more permanently, I would probably use electric, and I would use smooth twist wire and T-post, and that would make it last a whole lot longer, be a whole lot sturdier. I wouldn't be having to put it up and take it down every year, but until I know I have this place leased for a while, I'm not going to put in the expense and effort to do that. So that's what I do with my more permanent electric fences. You can also do 2 strands of that, and if you do 2 strands of that and a good brace post on each end, you will hardly have anything want to go through it. Okay. Sorry, I'm still fighting with the phone here, trying to get it to behave. It's the problem with technology. It only wants to work when it wants to work. See if I can get it off the tripod here and control it myself. Okay, here we go. All right. So to hook the fence to the charger, you can see I've just got bare wire running up here. Just got it wrapped around the fence. Super simple. For the ground, I've got bare wire running back to a rebar. Rebars are about the worst ground rod you can use, but they're cheap. It was in the back of my side-by-side. What can I say? If you want your fence to be powerful, you need a bunch of ground rods that need to be galvanized or copper or brass or whatever ground rods are actually made out of. They work way better and drive them deep. The rust on these rebars does not make a good ground, and that one I probably only have in the ground about 6 inches. If you want a good ground, you need to go in a couple feet and use a galvanized rod. They work way better. So just some basic best principles on fence here that I did not follow because I just really didn't care. This is good enough for what I'm doing. You can see here my little corner there again. Super simple, super temporary. And this is actually supposed to be up inside the insulator there. But it worked for the time being. It's worked for a couple months. I'll be taking this down here in a few days when I move the cows out of here. But hopefully that's helpful. Take a walk down here and show where I would take this across here. Kind of a natural point to bring a fence across anyway, and you can see here there's an old fence post there. There's an old fence here. And then there's another old fence right here. So this used to be divided up in several pieces, and it just fell down over the years and nobody put it back. So I would take the electric fence right here where I'm walking, somehow or another get it across this mess, and then the other fence is just about where those tall piece of brush is across the other side there. So that would be how I would cross fence this. And probably if I get this place again next year, probably that's the way I will run it, because got creek water here year round. The ditch I was using for water just dried up on me and I had to move my fence around to get the cows water. So you can check out a short video I'm going to put up also about the water gap I just made, kind of shows it. And I got some other videos on electric fence if you're looking for electric fence. But hopefully that helps you a little bit, get an idea about electric fence. If you have questions, put them down in the comments. I'll try to answer those for you.